What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a review of a red dot sight, actually a micro red dot sight for the RMSC platform. So we're talking SIG P365, Springfield Hellcat, the M&P Shield, the smaller profile guns, and it's called the Vortex Defender-CCW. So let's get into it. All right, here it is. See, I think people have been waiting a really long time for Vortex to come out with something that could fit on this platform. And in general, just a good sight. I actually had my eyes on the Holosun, I think it's the 507 something. I had my eyes on that for a little while, but I just couldn't quite pull the trigger on it because, at least for the Hellcat, it required a mounting plate for it to be compatible with, or I would have had to get the cutout for it drilled a little deeper, I believe, and I just wasn't willing to go for that, so I just held on. Right now, this is a Springfield Hellcat RDP, and it came fixed with the Hex Wasp red dot sight, and this is my first red dot on a pistol that I've used before, but I'm just not sold. So when this thing came out, I jumped on it immediately. So here we are. It looks, oh, it's mounted on something, okay. I was about to say, this thing looks really tall. It's a little bit bigger than the Wasp. You can see it kind of extends over the top of it. But I did read or watch a few videos and people were saying that this, for micro red dot sights, this will give you the biggest sight picture on the market right now. All right, so let's look and see what else is in here, and then I'm actually going to install it on my Hellcat and hopefully get a chance to take it out to the range tomorrow so you guys can see some results. I think Vortex does better than anybody else with how they do their packaging. Everything just looks nice and neat. Inside of here we've got battery, a key. It looks like a tool. I'm guessing this is what you'll need to tighten. We'll look into that in a minute. We've got some screws for, oh, okay, this is really cool. Each of these little bags tells you which mounting platform it's for. They're all nice and neatly separated. So I'm just gonna read out which ones we have. So we've got screws for the Smith & Wesson 2.0, Glock MOS, Ruger 57, Springfield Hellcat, and the Springfield XD M5.25 OSP. We'll put that aside because that's what we're going to be using. The Canik TP9SC, SIG P320, M17, M18, and RXP version, and the CZP10. This is a 1-inch shim plate. It says to use to angle the optic slightly to gain elevation when zeroing at less than 15 yards. I'm gonna also put that to the side. I don't know if I'll be using that yet or not. This is for HK-VP9 Tactical or the Kimber AEGIS, SIG P365XL, and FN 509. Might hold on to this. My uncle might be wanting that. Okay, and then we've got our Vortex Defender-CCW red dot instructions and a little lens cloth. It comes already put on this little rail piece. So I'm actually gonna unscrew this. Okay, and that takes us off of this. This piece right here is if you're going to be mounting this on a Picatinny rail, like most other optics. So I'm gonna keep that on the side. Who knows, maybe one day I'll change things up. I opted for the 6 MOA Defender, and you can see it's showing here on the left-hand side. I don't think that there's already a battery put in here. So I guess let's open it up and see. Now that we've removed the battery cover, we're going to place in the battery with the plus sign facing up towards the battery cover. Pop that cover back on, and let's screw this in. Okay, and then to turn it on, all you're going to need to do is press either the up or down arrow on either side. And there it is. This has an auto shut off feature that with no movement, this thing will automatically shut off after 14 hours. If you want to turn on this auto shut off feature, you need to hold down the up and down arrow for 3 seconds. And then what's supposed to happen is the red dot will start small and it will gradually get bigger, letting you know that the auto shut off has been activated. So let's do that. So I found the dot, 1, 2, 3. All right, and it just went to max brightness. It went down low, and now it's back. So we now know that the auto shut off feature has been added. If you want to manually turn it off, you just need to hold the down arrow, which is on the right hand side, for 5 seconds to do a manual shut off. If you want to turn off the ability to make adjustments with these up and down arrows, then what you'll need to do is hold the left hand side, which is the up arrow, for 3 seconds, and then you'll get the laser will dim for half a second, letting you know that the buttons have been locked out. And then to turn the buttons back on, in case you need to make adjustments again, you just hold that same one, the up arrow, for 3 seconds again, and then it'll flash twice, and then letting you know that the buttons now work once again. These up and down arrows actually adjust the brightness. I may earlier misspoke and said that it adjusts up and down. Actually, your selections for moving here are actually connected by these screws. So if we want to bring our brightness down a little bit, once I find it, let's do that. Okay, that's a little bit better for me. So the battery life on this thing depends. This is a CR1632 battery, and on the brightness setting 6, which you can look at in the manual, you have about 9,500 hours. So I'm not really familiar with how many the other red dots in the market are doing, but I can't imagine with the auto shut off on here that being bad, especially considering the Hex Wasp doesn't have an auto shut off. It stays on at all times. I've had this mounted on here for, I think, probably 2 years now, the Wasp, and I did just recently have to replace the battery for the first time about a month ago. So once I put this on, maybe I'll do an update once I have to replace the battery on it. To mount this, I'm going to be using my fix-it sticks, which is a torque wrench. So I really like using this now for my tools because I like to get things to where they're supposed to be. It's really important that you torque, especially sights, but you know, anything that you're going to put in control of your life, a life-saving tool like a firearm for self-defense purposes, it's important to mount things properly. That way they work the way they're supposed to when you need it the most. First, let me unscrew the 2 screws I have for this Hex Wasp, and then I'll go ahead and mount this, and I'll explain how to do so. Pick the right bit on the first try. My gun is unloaded. I've already checked. We'll do another check while on camera. Okay. All right, now that we've got the Wasp unscrewed, wipe out under this just a little bit, clean it off. A little bit of residue from the thread locker that I had on there prior to this. I'm going to be mounting with the shim plate because it's recommended if you're going to be zeroing at less than 15 yards, which I plan on zeroing at 10 yards. So you're going to want the thicker end, which is the end that has the 2 holes towards yourself. And all you're going to do is you're going to place it down, line it up. Should already just line up pretty perfect. And then your sight, your optic is gonna go on top of it, just like so. All right, these back down. It's recommended, per the instructions, that if you're going to torque it down to 15 inch-pounds, if you're not going to use any thread locker, or 10 to 12 inch-pounds with thread locker. And we're talking about the non-permanent. So you're looking for Loctite thread locker blue, which is removable. You don't want to use the other one, I think it's the red one, because it's permanent, which is definitely not what you want to do. So we're just going to drop a little dab of this on here. You just want, I'm talking just a little bit, half a drop. I accidentally put more than half a drop on that, just as I told y'all not to put too much. So I'm gonna dab this gently and get some of this off. Okay. Now that we've got that on there, we're gonna take our optic, place it on the pistol, make sure it's lined up correctly. Just drop this screw down in there. And I'm just going to loosely tighten it. We're not gonna put it down all the way yet because we still have another to put down. And this time we're just gonna put half a drop instead of a whole drop like I did. All right, half a drop. Let that move around on it. All right, drop that into the hole. Loosely tighten. Okay, make sure everything is sitting on there right. Oh, that looks good. We have our screws on there loosely. Now we're gonna put in the torque wrench, get our bit, and we're gonna be putting this down 10 to 12 inch-pounds. So I'm gonna do 12 inch-pounds. All right. There's 10 brightness settings in total, 8 daylight settings and 2 night vision. I just put it at the top, so let's go 9, 8, 7, 6. Still a little bright for me. 5. 4 is a little too low. 5 looks like the sweet spot for me, at least inside right now. Okay, all right, so there you go. Our optic is mounted. See if you guys can see that clearly. I'll show you both sides. It looks really nice in there. So now I'll just need to take this to the range and put some shots through it. We'll get this thing sighted in at 10 yards and we'll go from there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any questions or comments, throw them in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want to see more. I've got some more stuff that I'll be doing, some unboxing videos. I'm also hopefully going to be doing some more reviews of the previous video that I uploaded of my sniper setup. I know that in the video it was just an unboxing showing my new rifle, but hopefully I can show you the scope that I put on it, bipod, some of the other accessories I bought to go along with it, and then get a chance to see me on the range. All right, again, thanks, take care.